yes. The entry music. John Batchelor's show. What a treat. We love John on this show. We love him personally, professionally. He's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful radio guy, even a better person. And we're always honored to have the great John Batchelor on our program.
Absolutely, especially in studio.
It looks great, sounds great.
I feel like I should be Philip Marlowe with this music.
Hey, by the way, I hope you didn't draft Chris Sale from the Boston Red Sox.
No. I didn't take any Sox pitchers. I knew they were going to have a year. They were going to have a year.
You knew this?
Yeah.
0-4 with an ERA of 9?
Everything fell for them last year.
That's
everything.
true. That's true.
So this year, Tampa Bay, you ready?
Wow, they're going to be good. They were good last year with Kevin Cash.
Okay. There's other news.
There is?
Yes.
Bigger than fantasy baseball? Oh, let me guess, Robert Mueller.
Yes.
Yeah.
In moments, right, Bernie?
As a matter of fact, allegedly 9:30. Hopefully he'll be a little bit late so we can continue to speak with you, Mr. Batchelor. But, so the long-awaited 2.5 years Mueller investigation, we get all the details. The Washington Post saying it's going to be lightly redacted. So we're going to learn a lot, apparently. Give us your thoughts, John, please.
My dear colleague, Andrew McCarthy, has a wonderful term for what we're going to witness today. He calls it the media Democrat complex.
Oh, yeah.
The questioners in the audience are looking to please their bosses for 2.5 years of fiction. And so they will continue the train as if there's something to discover. I'm told the lightly redacted 400 pages, largely to be unread forever, are divided into two parts, collusion and obstruction. There is nothing in collusion. We've already been told that. And Mueller did not charge the president. There's nothing there. The obstruction, that's a talk fest. And I can't do it. I didn't go to law school. And I apologize, but I'm told by Mr. McCarthy and others that obstruction is in the eye of the beholder. So we can expect the media Democrat complex to leap to the conclusion that it's there if we just continue to look.
Right, but Mueller, of course, is in the eye of the beholder, but you cannot divine intent, and that's why there could be no charges. And, of course, there was no underlying crime. It seemed to have been, to Trump's actions, a manifestation of the frustration of an innocent man.
The president has the authority to fire and hire in the executive branch. That's what we witnessed.
And then Comey, of course, firing James Comey is one of what they thought was obstruction of justice. And you're right, but he had the right to do it.
And I understand, and these are from early leaks, and who knows, because the source is always part of the media Democrat complex. I understand that the special counsel's office perused the president's unhappiness these last 2.5 years as if that was a case for intent to obstruct.
Right.
Now, I'm lost here. I have an intention to watch the Yankees game. Does that mean that I'm guilty if I do not?
Right.
Well said. So let me, if they continue, these people on TV and the Democratic politicians, which they apparently will try to do, Nadler, Schiff, and the rest of them, to say that he did something wrong.
Yes.
They're going to make the case that Trump's been making, that it's a witch hunt, that people are going to say, guys, please, I'm begging. I think at this point, after 2.5 years, if they continue, they're going to make the case themselves better than Trump that, yes, this is a witch hunt at this point.
The logic of your statement is clear. However, we're in an election campaign. That's the context here. The Democrats are stuck. They have no theme other than the witch hunt.
Right.
The economy is fabulous. There are 3 jobs for everybody who wants one. We just posted week after week the lowest unemployment claims since Richard Nixon was inaugurated in 1969. I remember Richard Nixon being inaugurated. I was getting out of college soon enough. There were jobs in all directions. But we had a troubled country. We do not now. Pocketbook is what the American people vote. And so, faced with that, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and whoever succeeds in getting the nomination will have to tell another story. And we can presume the story will be what the fancy people call ad hominem. They will continue to attack the president.
John Batchelor here on the Bernie and Sid show. So you don't think that if this Buttigieg, for example, out of Indiana, he seems to be young, he seems to have new ideas, he's exciting. You know what you're getting out of Biden and Sanders. This guy's the flavor, the Baskin-Robbins flavor of the week. You don't think he's got some type of platform above and beyond crushing Donald Trump?
No, I do not hear. If they have it, I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
Elizabeth Warren is the one who approaches the economy, and she's into confiscation. Bernie Sanders is into polite confiscation.
Right.
So their theme seems to be, if you own 10 shares of Netflix, you only need one of them, Sid.
That's it.
So the other 9 will go to the government to distribute correctly.
That's it.
Yes.
Right.
That's democratic socialism.
Like you asked about my apartment. I've got 2 children.
Right.
So I've got 2.5 bedrooms, which, by the way, is still not enough. But according to them, that's too much.
Right. They would arrive at your door. The police would arrive at your door and say, 2.5 bedrooms, you only need 2. And therefore, this worthy individual who is accompanying us will get your half bedroom.
That's unreal.
That's how socialism works.
True, but I will say this. With Bernie Sanders, I watched him on Fox, and I was very impressed. First of all, the age issue is going to disappear because it's not an issue with Bernie Sanders. And he's very confident, and what he's selling is appealing to a lot of people. Free stuff. It's very, very appealing. And again, he's confident in what he believes in what he's trying to sell, even if it's patently absurd. So he may be a formidable candidate if he gets the nomination, which I believe he will.
I agree with you, Bernie. And a quote from him from the Fox presentation. He wants to create a government and an economy that works for all the people and not just the 1%. Watch that language. It's very clever.
Yeah.
Create an economy and a government. He's talking about command economy. He's not talking about our Constitution. He's going to create something that gives the executive the power to take that half bedroom.
Right.
To give the executive the power to say who works today and who doesn't work today, and who is worthy and who is not. Create an economy. Bernie Sanders is talking nonsense, but he's polite about it. And I do not believe, as you do not, the age is a matter.
No.
Because he will forgive Donald Trump for being younger.
That's right. That's funny. Attorney General William Barr about to speak to the country as the Mueller report comes out today, the redacted version. What do you think Trump will do moving forward? We've had these conversations, Bernie and I, with folks like Bill O'Reilly. This comes out today. They continue to attack. Do you think Trump continues to go back at them with the same venom he has in the past? Or do you think he pretty much laughs off this victory and maybe gets a little more, and I hate this word, whatever this word means, presidential?
I think the president is highly entertaining, and he sees moments, and he seizes them. So depending upon the language today and the reaction of the Democrats, he will be front stage making remarks that make us smile. We will also understand him because he speaks the language of common sense.
Right.
And so however he comes to understand this, it will be a joy to witness. A very clever case that I read last night said that the president owns the downside. Owns the downside, meaning if you make a statement, rhetorical statement, that seems to put you in a position of being a villain or someone who is unkind or ungenerous, the president will say, yeah, what's it to you?
That's funny.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
So he will own the downside today. Whatever the accusation is, he'll go, hey, and then he'll make a commonsensical remark.
And he is scheduled to give a press conference after Barr's and maybe before the Democrats actually get the report at 11 o'clock, which is infuriating them to no end. We got the word. It's about a minute, 60 seconds till he comes out. Also, the president has blown off the White House Correspondents' Dinner once again.
Right.
He's going to be in Wisconsin, Green Bay, giving a rally. Working. That's right. Exactly right. And so he's stolen the cachet and the prominence that dinner once had. He's wiped the press out in so many ways, label them fake news, and it has stuck. And especially now with this latest episode with the collusion hoax that they perpetuated for 2.5 years.
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be with you on this slight news day.
It's amazing the 3 years we've been here, we've had so many slight news days.
Yes.
Since Donnie is taken over.
The president will deliver today. I have high confidence. And when I get to speak of the president tonight, there will be smiles on everyone's face.
If you took a fantasy president draft, you would take Donald Trump number 1?
If I could get that. If I could get it. You know, that's the problem. You don't know what order you draft.
Before Donald Trump, who was the greatest president in the history of this country?
Before Donald Trump?
Yeah.
The easy answer is Abraham Lincoln, but I think Ronald Reagan because because he solved the 20th century. He solved the crisis of socialism that was burdening the U.S. and beggaring Eurasia.
That's right. So he brought down the Soviet Union. I mean, speaking of socialism, that was a wild failure. John Batchelor, here he is, Attorney General Barr.
We go to the media Democrat complex as performed by the Attorney General.
So I kept hearing for days now, John Batchelor, still with Bernie and Sid, that we knew the collusion stuff didn't happen, but that he had some damaging things in terms of obstruction. Not illegal, but possibly damaging for Trump. I watched and listened to that whole thing. I didn't hear one thing about obstruction, and certainly nothing that was damaging towards the president. Did you?
No, I did not. The Attorney General was confident and clear throughout.
But he didn't even mention obstruction. He didn't even say, in other words, he's been saying this does not exonerate the president. Everything he did just now, to me, exonerated the president.
But what he did, what was related to obstruction was when he asserted that the president, he asserted no privilege, executive privilege.
That's my point. That means the president cooperated.
He cooperated 100%.
Right, so
he allowed Mueller unfettered ability to conduct his probe.
So the point is, if they've been saying for days, including Mueller, this doesn't exonerate him, that implies he did some stuff that at the very least was shady. Well, I heard nothing today.
Which would have been firing Comey, which would have been writing tweets, intimating that he might pardon Roger Stone or something like that.
Okay.
All, again, the manifestations of the frustration of an innocent man,
Gotcha.
which is the case, I think, that
they made. What do you think, John?
I think the Attorney General was extremely impressive, extremely so. I had not anticipated that it would be so carefully presented to the American people. I'm impressed by his conduct, and I think the American people will examine this again and again and again today and see that the effort here is for complete transparency, up to including sharing the unredacted report with members of Congress, except for the grand jury pieces, which are prescribed by law, by the congressional law and by judicial ruling. They cannot be shared because grand jury is secret.
They're not going to...
Total transparency otherwise.
Right. They're not going to invoke executive privilege and then redact something and say, that only because I'm the president and I can do it. They're not going to do that.
I did hear that the Mueller team put together 10 incidents that suggested, according to theories of obstruction, there might be a problem here.
That's what he said.
I believe the Attorney General said, we reviewed that.
Right.
We didn't even argue with them. We accepted their 10 and do not find they rose to the level of obstruction.
Right.
And he included Rod Rosenstein in that decision-making.
Who appointed Mueller in the first place.
Yes.
And he made the point over and over, you cannot divine intent. And that would, it could be the actions of an innocent man and innocently expressing what he feels.
Anger and frustration. Right.
I again, am very impressed by the Attorney General.
Yes.
Well, if I had a lawyer, I'd want him to be like
We're more impressed by you, to be honest.
Today is going to be a day to see the genius of the media to work this and find an angle.
I figured out.
I mean, that's what they're paid for, find an angle.
Chuck Todd is in a scurry right now. How do you make him look bad?
He's going to have a shovel and he's going to keep digging the hole. That's what he's going to end up doing.
What the Attorney General did not speak to, but he has in prior instances, is that this is not the end. This is the end of the beginning.
Right.
Because what is going forward, to my information, is an investigation of the fiction.
Right.
Where it started and how it worked to the level of this disruption of the most powerful president we've ever had right now. Right now, Donald Trump has survived a 2-year investigation by his adversaries, and he's come out as strong as he always said he was. So we want to know where it started.
Right.
And it probably started in 2015. So we begin again asking questions about who knew and when they knew it.
And Comey, Brennan, Clapper, McCabe, and even President Obama, Loretta Lynch, Bill Clinton on the tarmac.
Counterintelligence investigation, I'm reminded again and again, is only for the President of the United States. So whatever was going on in late 2015 and early 2016 had the authority of the National Security Council, which is chaired by the President of the United States.
John Batchelor, you're amazing. It's a pleasure to have you and an honor to have you and great to have you at this time. Fortuitous.
Perfect time. 9 o'clock tonight. Check out John Batchelor.